Hello, and welcome to my first ever radio blogcast. I'm Mike Booth, and I'll be your guide through the wonders of my hometown, Super City. It can get pretty crazy around here sometimes, and I wanted the rest of the world to get a glimpse at just what goes on in Superhero Central. You've probably seen the bigger fights on the news, but I'm gonna give you the business from the ground level, not the eye in the sky. As I said, I'm Mike Booth, and I'd like you all to get to know me first before we begin. You're probably wondering how I was able to get on the airwaves in the first place. Well, like any good origin story, it started with a fateful accident. I was cleaning out my grandfather's attic when I found an old radio. It was in great condition and didn't appear to be magical or cursed or anything, so I brought it downstairs to plug it in and see if it still worked. But when I put the plug in the outlet, a freak bolt of lightning struck the house and gave me the shock of my life. Ever since then, I've been able to transmit my voice and anything I hear over the airwaves. It was a little embarrassing when I first got it because I wasn't able to completely control it, and I'm pretty sure some embarrassing personal stories might have gone out, but I've pretty much got the hang of it now. There are a few downsides, though. You think it's bad when you get a song stuck in your head, let me tell you. It's a lot worse when it's that one top 40 hit that you can't stand, but it keeps playing over and over because the DJ won't change the damn album or whatever they have now in radio stations. I don't know. But enough about me. I want to go ahead and start a segment I call the Superhero Spotlight. Today I'll be looking at two new up-and-comers in the hero game, Natural 20 and Sir Larpin. They've been at it for about a year now, and unlike my powers, they got ones that are actually useful for crime fighting. Sir Larpin uses magic to make things act like something else, like in live-action role-playing, hence the name. For instance, one of his most common moves is to write "bomb" on a piece of paper, wad it up, and throw it at his enemies. It explodes on contact and often gives them a bit of a shock. He's had great success with water balloons, too. He basically turns them into fire and acid bomb kind of things. You're probably noticing a trend with his moves here. He's a great guy. I'm not dissing him at all, but he's kind of a one-trick pony, not the most creative with his powers. Now, Natural 20 wrote her name on a cursed role-playing character sheet, and now she can change her natural skills by rewriting the attributes on it. So if she knows she's going into a slugfest, whoop, someone's got high strength and constitution. If she needs to charm her way into a social gathering, up go the charisma points. And let me tell you, a Natural 20 charisma on her looks good. The more she fights, the more experience she gets, and as time goes on, her level gets higher and she can add even more points. Now, full disclosure, these guys are like my best friends, and they begged me to mention them on the show. So hooray nepotism. We went to school together, and we all got our powers at around the same time, and we've been hanging out, helping each other test our powers, and became our own little group of super friends. But now that they're doing the superhero thing, there's not a whole lot I can do for them anymore, aside from put the word out on them. So there you have it, folks. Two new heroes on their way to stardom with a personal seal of approval from yours truly. They even have a website where they sell homemade merch to fund their crusade against crime. Sadly, it's down at the moment because they pissed off DDoS the living virus, and he's been wreaking havoc on their server in vengeance. Now on to another segment that I'm tentatively calling Fashion Victim. I will probably change the name at some point. This is where I critique a hero or villain's fashion choice of costume. Now, I'm a non-spandex shirt and jeans kind of guy, so I like to think I've got an outsider's eye on what does and doesn't work in the cape and cowl department. Our first fashion victim will be Snarl the Wolfman, who recently gained local fame for driving back the subterranean Nematodians. Now, in his hulked-out wolf form, Snarl is basically naked, so I'm not going to be looking at that aspect of his costume choice. I'm actually going to be taking a look at the costume he wears in his human and partial human modes. First of all, the positive, gotta say, digging the color choices, Snarl. It's this dark purple and black deal that kind of looks like you're staring into the woods at night, although you do have to kind of cross your eyes and squint a little. And there's these two, big yellow eyes on the front, but that's where the negative comes in. See, apparently no one had the guts to tell Snarl that the two eyes look a wee bit like saggy man boobs. Now, I'm not a beanpole myself, but come on, Snarl. The placement on those things is ridiculously perfect. You had to have known. Are you screwing with your bad guys? Is that it? On top of that, I don't get the purpose of the fake tail. You've got a tail in everything but your human form, Snarl. Why bother putting it on the costume? Is it just a consistency thing? Do you feel bad without it? But back to the positive. He's got this neat trick where the fabric kind of melds into his fur when he goes full on wolf aggro, and I imagine that saves for some really embarrassing after-fight moments. Once he depowers, goes back into human mode, it starts to come back. So on the whole, it's a really great costume with just some bizarre fashion choices. Some just frankly unnecessary additions. I'm going to give it a 3.5 capes out of 5. Now, what else is going on in our wonderful city today? I'm going to be honest, I thought those 2 segments were going to take up a little bit more time, and I really want to try to have a bit longer of a first episode, but oh geez, bear with me for a second. Let me see what's going on in the news today. Oh, here we go. There's a brawl at the intersection of D and C Street and Marvel Road. Looks like a new hero is having it out with Big Bad Wolf, the evil crime dog. So take a detour today if you want to avoid having a rough time. No more puns. No more puns from me. Even I hate that. Wow, that one hurt even me. Weather. Let's talk about the weather. The King of Rain is still in prison at last check, so the forecast will probably be correct. Although Blixert is still at large, so if the temperature starts to drop and you're not in Little Afterlife, you might want to take cover. Okay, I'm officially out of things to talk about now. For a first go, think things went pretty well. I'm going to open up my comment box to questions if anyone who's not a Super City native has some burning things they want to know about my city. I love this place and I know a lot about it, so even if I don't know the answer, I can surely find it for you. Thanks for sticking with me on this little experiment. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it again. This was a lot of fun, and, I mean, what else am I going to do with my time? So, signing off, this is Mike Booth telling everyone out there to stay super.